Meghan telephoned Thomas, and she pleaded that he come to London. And hearing her cry, Thomas became convinced that his daughter did not believe that he was in the hospital. The call ended acrimoniously. "Maybe it would be better for you guys if I were dead," snapped Thomas and hung up. Oh. But can we blame him for feeling this way? What have they shown thus far that would prove that they valued his life at all? Harry fired off what Thomas regarded as 3 telling-off texts. First, Harry admonished Thomas for talking to the press and accused him of hurting Meghan. You guys, we're going to see Harry acting like they're 16 years old and his dad just told her she can't have a late curfew. I mean, he's so bratty to Thomas and so, if you really loved your daughter, you'd let her have some of the things that she wants. Harry admonished Thomas for talking to the press and accused him of hurting Meghan. To Thomas's distress, Harry did not ask him about his health or the operation or send him good wishes. Deeply wounded, Thomas sent a curt reply. "I've done nothing to hurt you, Meghan, or anyone else. I'm sorry my heart attack is any inconvenience for you." Harry would deny that the exchange occurred. Meghan, however, acknowledged she had received an unpleasant message from her father. Of course, she's not going to miss an opportunity to be victimized by her dad. Nothing makes her happier than to be able to paint the wounded image. Within 5 minutes, she called him 4 times, and he didn't answer. Well, good for him. Using Meghan's phone, Harry texted,
"Tom, it's Harry. Please answer your phone. I need to know this is actually you because it doesn't sound like you at all."
Harry, you can just see these two, holed up in some back room somewhere, angrily discussing the situation with each other, planning their next move, talking about how terrible Thomas is, whipping each other up into an emotional fury. I mean, what is this? It doesn't really sound like my dad at all. Is there some kind of coup going on? What's happening? Who's taking over my dad's life?
I don't know, but it's really crazy. I'm getting really worried. I think he's working with some kind of an operator. Give me your phone, I'll text him this time. If he's not answering you, he's gonna, by God, answer me.
Thomas later explained, "There is a time and a place to say what he said to me, but not when I was in the hospital, lying there after a heart attack." Thereafter, Meghan never sent another text to Thomas, never telephoned him, and ignored his calls forever. This is so beyond selfish, it needs a new name. How can your father be lying in a hospital bed, recovering from surgery and heart attacks, and you want to get all upset and all frothy with rage because he can't make it to the wedding? The wedding that you didn't really want him to come to anyway. None of the things that you did made him feel like he was a welcome guest. So now she gets to put on this great big pretend that my dad abandoned me on my most important day. And I can't talk to somebody like that who has no regard for my feelings and my emotions and the things that matter to me. He's a toxic person. He's a toxic person who wouldn't show up for my wedding and who made up crazy stories and he tried to use our relationship to make money. Me and my daddy were always really close. And now, well, he's toxic. And I'm seeing that now. And I'm being honest about that now. And I'm taking steps in my healing process after this really devastating relationship to just move on. And heal. I have to heal. Lord Jesus. Oh my goodness. Well, on 16th of May, 3 days before the wedding, Kensington Palace's official spokesperson briefed that Thomas would not be coming to Britain because of ill health. Okay, so the truth is finally coming out about why he can't be there. It's not because he took some embarrassing photos. And you guys, I guess I'll talk about that at the end. Well, Thomas is not going to be able to make it. But several members of the Markle family have arrived in London to appear live on TV. And you guys, when I tell you this is a motley crew that showed up. Okay, listen to who showed up, all right? None of the usual players managed to make it. Characterized as alcoholics, cannabis growers, and jailbirds lured by money, they were angry not to be invited to the family reunion. The visitors included Rosalind, Thomas Markle's first wife, and Tom Jr.'s ex-wife, and her 2 sons, And none of them had ever even met Meghan. And the ex-wife brought her 2 sons named Tyler and Dooley. Well, Meghan's nephew Tyler used his visit to promote his latest cannabis product, Markle's Sparkle. And Tyler, who was estranged from his father, made efforts to let everyone know that his dad, Tom Jr., was just a vile human being. Meanwhile, Dooley over there is trying to do better. Dooley praised Meghan, and he denounced the media's reporting. He said that he'd always admired her. Okay, but not surprisingly, at the last moment, all the Markles were dropped by the broadcasters. Yet, who would not be silenced? Samantha Markle. She wanted to promote her forthcoming book, The Diary of Princess Pushy's Sister, and denounced the descriptions of Meghan as a compassionate humanitarian. You guys, nobody's going to say Samantha can't have her feelings about it, but let it go, sister. Is this really what you want to be known for? The bitter half-sister who won't let it go? The Diary of Princess Pushy's Sister. That sounds like a really terrible children's book with those horrific illustrations done by a computer. What is this? At a certain point, go live your own life. Meghan, she said, had nothing in common with Diana. Early in the year, she told US TV, we were asked not to speak to the public. But I'm pretty adamant about it. There's something in this country called freedom of speech. She doesn't have a copyright on that. Yeah, she doesn't. You're right. You can say whatever you want. You can say whatever. But should you? I just wish somebody would have helped her with the title of that book, The Diary of Princess Pushy's Sister. People are making money off of Samantha's disappointment in life. And unfortunately, she's also monetizing her disappointment. But I just don't think it makes her look good. The Diary of Princess Pushy's Sister, I just can't get over how lame that title is. It just is so petty. If I was related to Meghan, I can imagine coming out at some point and saying, you all are being fed some lies. If I said anything at all, it would be one time, and then I'd dry up on the subject. Because if this person is so terrible, I don't want to tether even one more moment of my life to this person's life. All right, well, Samantha's over there promoting her book. We've got Tyler and Dooley in their weed. It's just an absolute circus. An absolute circus. Amid that background noise, Meghan's dilemma was who would walk her down the chapel aisle. Harry agreed to ask Charles.
He's our father after all, and so of course he's going to be there for us.
And Charles said that he'd do whatever Meghan needed and that he was there to support them. Then later Harry says this little jab.
He was there for us. He was the one out of the 2 left to deal. He tried to do his best and to make sure that we were protected and looked after.
So now suddenly he can speak kindly about his father. Harry he's about as two-faced as she is. When it is convenient for him, he'll speak kindly about a family member, but then he'll just suddenly jab at a person. We saw that over and over and over in Spare. That was like a hallmark of the book. He would say kind things, and then from nowhere, he'd come at you with a knife in the kidneys. It's what is wrong with this person? Thomas Markle could not be airbrushed from the ceremony, try as they might. His name was printed on the order of service. To square the circle, the palace needed to secure his approval of the arrangement. To conceal the family crisis, James Beale of The Sun was falsely told by palace sources that Meghan had spoken to her father, and she'd said that she loved him. He had recounted that he was recovering well and not to worry, and apparently Thomas had told Meghan that he was honored that Charles would give her away. What dad would be honored by that? What a blow. Charles can't give her away. What is even the point? She should have just walked down alone instead of having this, how does one dad give the child away to the other child? That just looks stupid. This would have been the time to call up one of those uncles that she had not invited and said, please, please, please come. Because that just looks, fundamentally, that's just weird. Unseen during the furor was Doria Raglan, who'd quietly arrived in London on the 17th of May. Escorted from the plane as a VIP, she was driven directly to Cliveden House Hotel outside of London to prepare to meet Charles and the Queen at Clarence House in Windsor. Meghan had successfully suppressed the truth about her mother. And Tom Bauer gives us this little gem. In turn, Doria was ordered not to say a word, and that appeared to include not making the slightest facial expression. It's true, though. Because every picture you see, she's like frozen. Seriously, she looks tranquilized. Doria was about to participate in one of Windsor's greatest theatrical performances, and some would say a hapless royal family hijacked by Hollywood.